Prince Harry has won the right to appeal a legal challenge over his personal security. Earlier this year, a judge ruled against him after he took legal action against the UK Home Office over their decision to stop providing him with publicly funded security arrangements in the UK because he quit as a working member of the royal family. In February, the judge ruled that the government's decision was not unlawful or unjustified, but following an application from Prince Harry's lawyers, the Court of Appeal says that it will hear his challenge. Now, this development comes amid fresh speculation that the Duke of Sussex could be writing another memoir after releasing his tell-all book last year.
Right, well, there's always been rumours that, all right, is Harry going to kind of continue the bombshells? Is there going to be another book? And a royal author recently pointed out something very interesting, which is when you do read Spare, that there's these kind of gaps, like especially in the lead up and the coverage of their wedding. He doesn't really mention that in Spare, so there's clearly gaps there, and some people believe that this is really a sign that Harry has sort of kept a few things back for another book. If he does, I mean, I'm sure it'll fly off the shelves. Obviously, Spare broke all-time sales records last year. It moved something like 1.3 million copies in the first 3 days of release. I mean, it was a huge windfall. It netted Harry at least £20 million that we know of, just through the book deal and the early sales. Who knows? Obviously, it was an audio book. It continues to sell thousands of copies. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, it was such a windfall for them. And with the Netflix deal coming up for renewal next year, you know, who knows where that's going to go. So it could be a good way for them to sort of secure another big sort of chunk of money.
Amazing that there's still more to tell, because there was certainly a lot of information in that book, Spare. I didn't read the entire thing, but obviously just the news clips that you see. Not sure how this one will go. We'll wait and see. Obviously, it brought in a lot of money for them. King Charles is battling with Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson to convince the Yorks to move out of the Royal Lodge. Why is the King so adamant about evicting his brother?
Right, well, this has been an ongoing story now for over a year. Obviously, Prince Andrew was, you know, he's living in disgrace. He was stripped of his royal duties, and part of that is he's not really being paid by the monarchy anymore because he doesn't complete any royal duties. So his finances are unclear, but he does live in one of the grandest royal homes. He lives in Royal Lodge. It's a huge home on the Windsor estate. It was the Queen Mother's old house. And I'm sure, you know, it was fine for him to upkeep this home when he was a working royal, but now that he's very much in the shadows, he doesn't necessarily have the money, and there's been signs of that. You know, there were some photos circulating in the British press showing the dilapidation of the house, the exterior, and these royal homes, you know, they need millions of pounds for upkeep. Apparently his staffers have called it the money pit, just because it requires such constant maintenance, but apparently he's just insistent on not downsizing. King Charles is very keen to move Andrew and his ex-wife Fergie on. He doesn't want them to live there anymore. Some people think that Charles wants to move the Yorks out of the house because he wants to make it available possibly for Prince William and Princess Catherine.
Right.
So that's a bit of a theory. But in a more immediate sense, I just don't think that Andrew and Fergie have the money, frankly.
Right.
But they've managed to sort of stave off the eviction for now. They've agreed to put in a couple £100,000 to do immediate repairs, and we saw new photos of scaffolding on the house, and those repairs are ongoing. So it seems like for the time being, Andrew and Fergie are going to be staying at Royal Lodge.
Riley Sullivan, thank you so much for joining us on Power Hour once again.
Thank you.
So much royal news to get through this week. Great to speak with you.
Awesome, thank you.
And that is Power Hour. Thank you for your company. We'll see you next week. Make sure you subscribe to Sky News Australia on YouTube.